Datchler has released a new version of Shattered Dreams and is donating all the royalties to Poland Welcomes, which is a charity which runs shelters for women and children who fled the war in Ukraine. So let's have a listen.
Can't you see you've given me nothing but shattered dreams, shattered dreams. Feel like I could run away from this empty.
And Clark Datchler joins me now, along with Programme Director for the charity Poland Welcomes, Neil Midgley. So welcome to both of you. Good to see you both.
Thank you.
So Clark, tell us, what inspired you to revisit this 1987 song?
Yeah.
Shattered Dreams, which was such a big hit then, but why did you decide that you wanted to re-record it?
Well, I think when the war in Ukraine started, you could see that the refugee crisis was getting a lot of attention. But as the months have gone by, that particular news item has slipped down the agenda, I think. So I felt that it was the right thing to do to bring a song out into the world that would refocus on that particular issue. And I was very lucky to be connected with Neil and everyone at Poland Welcomes. And we have this kind of natural symbiosis in terms of what we're wanting to achieve.
Well, yes, so tell us a bit about the charity and what Poland Welcomes does, Neil.
Yeah, so it's a start-up charity. We didn't exist the day before the war. It was started by a group of Polish friends in a city called Jarosław, which is close to the border crossing points that you've seen, you know, the railway stations full of people that you saw early in the war. And we've grown. I turned up in mid-March just seeing what I could do to help.
Literally having heard about the war and wanting to do something.
Yeah, just wanting to do something. And I was connected to this charity by my former cleaning lady. And so I've been working with them now for 8 months, and we are trying to fundraise to be ready for winter, because the UNHCR prediction is that another 500,000 to 750,000 refugees will come to Poland in the winter. You've seen the news, you've probably presented the news about the attacks on the energy infrastructure in Ukraine. Obviously, a lot of people are living in damaged buildings, windows blown out. So we are expecting a massive influx. But of course, it's very hard for us to fundraise at the moment because we haven't been at the top of the news agenda.
Yes, and yet there does seem to be a great deal of compassion towards Ukraine from people in this country. If you look at the response to the calls for people to take Ukrainians into their homes, do you have hopes that this will kind of cut through and reconnect people to that cause?
I think so. That's the beauty of music. You know, music has a special place in a lot of people's hearts. And I think a song like Shattered Dreams, which I wrote with something very different in mind, and now is taking on a very different meaning in terms of the shattered dreams of the people of Ukraine, I think has the chance to resonate with people, partly because they associate with the song from the past, and partly because it's such an undeniable truth that their dreams have literally been shattered metaphorically. Also physically, you hear that some of the biggest problems in Ukraine is shattered glass everywhere. So, yeah, I think that music must play an important part in reconnecting people with their sense of empathy.
What about the experience for you personally to re-record a track that brought you such success, but a long time ago? And as you say, you wrote it with something different in mind. So what was it like? Was the experience very different to recording it first time round?
It was different in the sense that this time I'm obviously a little bit older and hopefully slightly wiser. And to think about the subject matter gave it a sense of gravitas, obviously, and a sense of responsibility from my part about how do I want to convey this in a personal way, in what I hope is a more soulful way. And in that sense, I think that a big part, though, of the process of bringing this into being was actually going to visit Neil and everyone at Poland Welcomes in Jarosław in eastern Poland, and to go around to some of the shelters myself, meet some of the refugees, hear their stories, and that really put it into a deeper context for me as well. I mean, I'm the person that wrote the song, and suddenly I found that the song was actually much deeper and more multidimensional than I realised.
Well, we could talk about it further. Unfortunately, we're out of time. But Clark Datchler and Neil Midgley, thank you so much for coming in to tell us a little bit about it, and good luck with it.
Thank you.
Thank you, Anna.
Now then, in the next few minutes, Sky News has a special event getting underway. Big Ideas Live will bring together